In this video, I'm going to show you a paint wash on beech wood timber. So I am doing a project at the moment and I have an offcut here and I am going to do a paint wash on it. So I want to see on this test patch what it's going to look like before I go ahead and do the bigger piece. First thing I do before I do any paint wash is actually see what the wood looks like wet, because it can be deceiving what timber looks like in its raw state as opposed to what it looks like with a polyurethane or a wax on it. So this is the beechwood timber here. I've just got water. And this is a finger jointed piece of timber. Finger jointed just means there's little fingers of wood that are all joined together, but it is all solid beech. So you can see the amount of different theories between this as opposed to this. Like you've got some seriously orange patches over here. You've got more of like a neutral tanny sort of brown here. But we want to neutralize everything. So for this particular piece, I want it to be taupey. I don't necessarily want it to be grey or white, but I want a little bit of that warmth to show through. So essentially when you are doing a paint wash, the warmth is still going to be there. And if you keep on applying coats of paint wash over the top, you will slowly lose the natural warmth that is there. So what I like to do is I try to incorporate the warmth that I see now into what my colour is going to be in the end when I put the poly or the wax over the top. So when you are at Bunnings, go and check out the mist tint aisle, because you can always find random colours that have been mixed up. You can always tell what they are as well, and they can be colour matched later on, but it's always good to have a look. Like this one was $1, this one was $3, and it's awesome to have them on hand. So I've chosen to do this mix with this one. It's like an oystery grey colour with a slight taupey edge to it. I've got this vivid white, which is actually a blue based white here, and this is going to be that little touch of warmth. So I'm going to be adding this in because I want it to be more like what it is dry at the end. So I went ahead and actually mixed this up. I have another video on how exactly to mix them up, but the basic ratio is 1 part paint to 3 parts water. So I have 15 mils of that oystery blue based grey, I've got 15 of the white, and then I've got 10 grams or mils of that warm sort of tone. So for 40 grams of paint, I then have 40, 80, 120, that's your 3 parts, mils of water. So that's how you kind of work it out. So if you had 50 mils of paint, you would have 150 mils, 51, 150 of your water. So back to the test patch, I've got my water. This is for ease of application. I want to make sure that I get a little bit of each of the colours that are in this. Alright, so I'm going to do this whole section. When you mix it up 3 to 1, you've just got a lot more work time. You don't get as many streaks. It's easy to sort of get it off, but you want a nice even application. Wait a couple of seconds. I like to use old t-shirts and bits and pieces like that to actually take any excess product off. And I'm going to hit this with the hairdryer really quickly so you can see. So this is once it is dry. So this side versus this side, but remember we are toning what it looks like when it's wet. So I'm going to do another application. So now you can see when it's dry, it's starting to look a little bit grey, but this is when it's dry. So what I'm going to do now is actually do, let's say I'll do another coat just here, and we'll have a look at the difference between 3 coats versus 2 coats here versus nothing. Okay, so now it's completely dry. I'm going to re-wet these sections. So remembering that this was 3 coats, this was 2 coats, and this was no coats whatsoever. So this is what I mean. Ooh, see if we can get the light right. So this, nothing, really goldy, really warm. There's still an element of that warmth coming through here, but there is next to none coming through when you've got the 3 coats. So see what I mean? You've got that little goldy element here, the goldy element up here, but it's not coming through here. So this is a fantastic way for you to determine how far you want to take it. So I know that what I wanted to achieve was somewhere in the middle here. So I'm going to be applying 2 coats. I like how much it's neutralized, but I don't like how much it is taken out here. So I don't want it too grey like this. I want to have that little element of warmth in there without it being too harsh. So I know that I'm going to hit 2 coats.